empty cup. Just crack a smile and fill it up. Fill it up. Welcome to After the Final Pour. It's a real low-key episode this week. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing okay.
Great. It's a different After the Final Pour. Brandon, what were we going to drink originally?
We were going to drink the 2020 Bourbon County Stout, but we are no longer drinking the Bourbon County 2020 Stout. So we are actually transitioning to the... you could say it.
Weller.
Yeah.
It's the Weller Special Reserve. The original wheated bourbon. Maybe it's the first time, probably other than doing a shot of Buffalo Trace. Doing a shot of Buffalo Trace on this episode. Let me get back in. Boy, whatever is on HBO right now is intense.
It is. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like we should not have this on. This is probably the like I said, the second time we've had some sort of bourbon on any of the show.
Yeah, but we've never done anything specifically towards bourbon.
Correct.
So.
And you and I and Clark and I would assume that probably 90% of the guests that have been on this show like bourbon and whiskey.
Correct.
Now you suggested let's do the Bourbon County 2020, which I'm all for because I really did enjoy it the last time I had it.
And we will do that.
Yeah, but I thought, I used the restroom and I came back and I saw the bottle because you had already showed me that's what we were going to have. And I thought, let's not let that bottle go to waste. Let's give a little sipperoo to the Weller because, hey, let's not drink your Bourbon County. Let's drink your bourbon instead.
Let's sip into the Weller.
Well, I feel like it's less heavy and like I said, I didn't want this sounds like me just really pushing like, hey man, can we drink your Weller? I didn't want the bottle to go to waste. I feel like my gut is full and I don't need any more beer. So here we go. We're going in for the sip of the Weller. Here we go. So is all Weller wheated bourbon?
I don't know.
That is the greatest response ever.
This is the base.
Yeah.
So I believe so.
All right, looking it up now. This is why we're not the neat pour podcast. Let's see. It was.
This is why we have editing capabilities.
Yeah, no shit. It is okay. So all of Weller is a wheated bourbon whiskey. The brand was created by S4E2 Weller Distilling Company. This is S4E2. The brand has been owned by. Okay. So the first one I ever had was Antique. I believe 107, which is a hard one to find. That was the first one I ever had, and that I knew there was a wheated bourbon, so to speak. So. Yeah, a friend of mine has that, and he actually came across a whole bunch of bottles at a gas station that they were selling them for super cheap, and it was crazy. He bought a whole bunch of them. He's someone I do want to have on the show at some point. So, Phil, here we go. Yeah, but that was my first experience with Weller, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's a wheat bourbon," and I remember just having a little sip of it, remembering or experiencing like, wow, this is really smooth. There's a sweetness to it. I really like it. And I'm getting the same thing from this little glass that we're having here right now. There's a nice burn going down the old gullet in the chest. Nothing serious, nothing that's like unpleasant, but it's got hold on. Even like the nose on it. There's like that nice, man, it's like vanilla and something else.
Fire.
Tastes like burning.
No, it doesn't taste like burning, but
it's there's that heat, from drinking, straight up alcohol. But I'm trying to figure out what that other flavor is.
No, and I'm in the same boat, like, because I get those. The aroma is very like vanilla, I think what else is there?
I mean, there's obviously some type of wood,
Yes.
wooded flavor.
Wood, almost a little caramel, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, like, you drink it, and then it's like, where did that all go?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a very flavorful and tasteful bourbon.
Yeah.
So,
It's a bourbon you definitely want to sit and sip on.
and I would love to.
And that's what we're doing here.
By a fire. Let's go back outside.
Back outside. Yeah, we spent a lot of the evening outside tonight. 40-degree weather here in Chicago.
So, and to my defense, I've had a lot of Weller. I've had Weller 12. I had, regular Weller. I saw this one in the store the other day, and I bought this. And this is kind of how Tony fell upon it. But, man, I mean, this is... I don't want to say it's easy drinking, because it's not. But, like...
It is, but it's not, yeah.
Yeah. If you're not a bourbon drinker... This is not easy drinking. If you are a bourbon drinker,
yeah, I
this
agree.
one is smooth.
It is super smooth. I will say though that the Antique 107 is definitely smoother than this. So this is a green bottle. The red bottle is the Antique 107. I guess my next step would be the 12, age 12 years Weller. Bourbon to me, I feel like is. People talk about whiskey, scotch, and bourbon. When I was a less learned man, I didn't really know the difference, and I didn't really have a preference. And as time has gone on, I've understood why people have their preferences. I'm definitely I think if I had to choose, it'd be bourbon, whiskey, scotch. If I had to make that choice, and that's where I'm at. Bourbon is my favorite, and. Weller, you're doing it right, baby. Keep doing it.
Agreed.
You've only been doing it for like 40 years now.
Well, and if I speak correctly, the Weller brand is kind of an offspring of the old Pappy Van Winkle.
Goo!
So I think that is where the hype comes from. For people wanting to have the Weller.
Yeah. Every year I feel like there's a new hype of a whiskey, a bourbon, whatever. Even with beer, there's always this new hype of a new place, or everybody wants to try something new. And I'm glad I'm not on that train.
Agreed.
For anything. I'm really not on the train for any beers or whiskeys or bourbons or whatever the hell else.
Yeah, I love what I can get.
Yeah.
And this one is delicious.
Would I go out of my way to get this? Probably. Only because it is smooth, but it's got that, like, I don't know, nice burn in my chest where it's
Agreed.
Like, I love the flavor that I would pour exactly what we poured.
Yep.
And go back to it in a week or so. It's not like if you've got... Now, I'm a guy who likes Jim Beam, I do like Jim Beam. This is a fact. I also enjoy Buffalo Trace. Those types of bourbons and whiskeys, I can sit there and sip and drink and drink all night long and be fine. But this, I think I would treat a little differently. Pour a little bit in the glass like we have, and... that would probably be it for the night. I would not go back and have another one. And not in a negative way, but that would be like, oh, this is that drink for the evening.
Yep. So just for your knowledge, Buffalo Trace, Weller, all of that is in the same umbrella.
Son of a bitch.
They are. So I do know specifically. They are in the same umbrella. And... they've been absorbed at different times of the years.
So you're saying I have a type?
Yeah, probably. But again, so Buffalo Trace has been my favorite bourbon for years.
Yeah, I think I'm on for me personally, when I've just, realized how much I do like bourbon, it's about 3 years now. Yeah. Buffalo Trace has kind of been my go-to.
Yeah, and that's always my go-to. So Buffalo Trace has been my go-to, and then... when I found out about the connection with Weller, brought that into the fold, And then this bottle, I didn't find this like rogue. I mean, I did find it rogue, but I found it at a place that they were offering one bottle only, and I decided, you know what, we got to pick it up.
Well, man, I'm glad you did. It's very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh boy, that's a text from my wife saying it's time to wrap it up for after the final pour. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to After the Final Pour. This is a very different one.
Totally different.
But I like it. Yeah, totally different. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing this with me.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Cheers as always, buddy.